Well, great. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, like I mentioned, for our India program webinar. I am Rebecca Sadler, and I am an India Family Coordinator. I am joined here by Mindy Davis, who is our India Senior Family Coordinator. Why choose America World? America World has been licensed in India since 2006. We have a team of highly experienced staff that lives here in the States as well as in India. And our team has a combined of over 20 years of experience in India adoption care. We, as a team, go annually to meet with CARA, India's government, and U.S. embassies and government officials, and then we also meet with our in-country staff. So we actually had some of our team from here in the States go to India at the end of February and into March. So they had a lot of great meetings, and it was a good time to just meet with our in-country staff as well as meeting with government officials. So we are in constant communication with government officials, with the orphanages, with we actually talk with our in-country staff every day. So that is something that is definitely I feel like that is very beneficial to us, is that in-country staff that just has a lot of experience and that is on the ground really advocating for families and working on their behalf. We also offer training and support that I'll talk a little bit more in depth about later on in the slideshow. We as well do humanitarian efforts. So for example, we use MANNA, which is Mother Administered Nutrition aids, which is kind of like a fortified ketchup packet that has peanut paste in it, and that can actually give starving children 3 servings that a day can actually help a starving child. So we brought that over in different suitcases and things like that when we've gone over as a team. So terminology, kind of when you are looking through adoption and kind of seeing things, something that can be a little intimidating as a terminology, as there's just, for anything that you do, there's kind of just certain words that we use. And so I'm going to just give you a little bit of overview of some of our terminology. First is home study, which this is an in-depth review of prospective adoptive parents and their families to assess and improve their ability to adopt. Second is dossier, which is your financial records, your marriage, your birth certificates, and it's like that collection of legal documents used to complete an adoption. That will so your dossier you'll be compiling at the beginning of your process, and then it will actually get sent to India. Referral is information about a child that is matched the prospective family. So when you get a referral, you'll have photos, you'll have medical exam report and a child study report. They'll help give the background and development of the child. USCIS stands for United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is U.S. Immigration, and that is the federal agency responsible for the authorization of a foreign child to be adopted by a U.S. family. So the forms in your adoption, the main forms that you'll use is the I-800A and the I-800. Hague is India's adoption process, and it is an international agreement to protect children and adoptive parents with intercountry adoptions. CARA is India's Central Adoption Resource Authority, and that is what regards all matters of adoption in India. And CARINGS is India's web-based management information system, and that's the database where we actually do your matching, where we upload your paperwork, and kind of where a big part of your process takes place. Alrighty, so next I'm going to give a little bit of a process overview just to kind of give you the background of what kind of happens throughout the process. So application. So you can apply on our website at awaa.org. I definitely recommend a free pre-app that your family can apply for. So this costs you nothing, and it's kind of a good way. If you're not sure if you meet India's requirements, if you're not sure if you meet our agency's requirements, you can apply for this free app and just get in touch with our intake team, and they will be able to provide you if you qualify for our India team. So it also kind of gets you in contact with someone that is on our staff. So next is the home study. Like I mentioned, that's where a social worker visits your home. Your family completes paperwork to obtain approval for adoption. This is also the part in the process where they confirm your child requests, research medical needs, you take training, and outline a training plan for preparing it to parent an adopted child. The home study is state specific, and so America World currently has social workers in many states, and if we don't have a social worker in that state, we have cooperative agreements with most states, so that you can work with the social services and still work with the Miracle World. So next, once you have an approved home study, is when you can be registered on Carings. The Carings database is an online portal where agencies register families for adoption, and parents can be matched with profiles of waiting children. The dossier building is kind of done in conjunction with your home study, and also dossier documents will be needed for registering you on Carings. And this is the complete paperwork required by India and U.S. immigration. So this typically takes anywhere from 4 to 6 months, but like I mentioned, you kind of do it alongside of your home study, so it kind of gets done alongside of it. So it's not really like an added on, it kind of happens in conjunction with. So once you are approved on Carings, this is when we're able to match your family with a referral. So the referral review and acceptance process, this is where you'd receive information about a child, and this is, if you decide you want to review the child's file, this is when you would get to talk with your doctor, with an international specialist, and with your social worker to see if this would be a good match for your family. Approvals. Your family will typically wait 12 to 18 months for approvals to occur through like CARA, through committees, and through the judge in court in India. So once you've accepted a referral, that's how long it takes. We have been seeing that timeline decrease in some regions. So every region is a little bit different, and how long it takes for things to happen, just the judge in that region, the orphanage, getting documents and things like that. So everybody's timeline, honestly, is different and unique for each case, but some regions we have seen that timeline decrease. Our travel department is wonderful. I'll actually talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but we do assist with all your travel arrangements and things in country, so that is a big beneficial help. We also have post-adoption, and we have a post-adoption team that will help assist you once you have come home. So the total time frame is 18 to 24 months, and like I kind of mentioned earlier, some families have been seeing that a little bit shorter, just that time frame decrease, and like I said, kind of depends on the region that you're matched in. It also kind of depends on how quickly your home study gets done and you create your dossier and things like that. Children and orphanages in India. So children are orphaned due to poverty, disease, family issues, a combination of all three. I would say most children that we see are abandoned with medical needs. And so that is kind of something to note. This is a medical needs program. So domestic and international adoption guidelines. Orphanages do contact 3 domestic families before international adoption occurs. And we have been seeing the domestic program within India grow, which is great. I would say that, domestic families usually do take either healthy children or more minor special needs children, and that's why we have such a need for international families to adopt in our special needs program. So the orphanages can be located in any state or region. They can be operated by small nonprofits, large institutions, and or the government. Miracle World has worked with over 90 RIPAs, which is Recognized Indian Placement Agencies, or SAS, which is Specialized Adoption Agencies, in the history of our India program, with that increasing. So understanding medical needs. Like I did say, India is a special needs program. So if you're adopting and you do not have Indian heritage, so if you have Indian heritage, which is NRI, non-resident of Indian status, or OCI, overseas citizenship of India status, you can adopt healthy if you have Indian heritage. But if you do not, then you will be adopting special needs. So special needs that we like see, vision and hearing impairments, and that ranges from correctable glasses to blindness, and from needing hearing aids to completely deaf for hearing. We also have cleft lip and cleft palate, which we see a broad range of that and severity. That is something that is generally corrected by surgeries. Heart conditions, honestly, all these we gotta see on a huge spectrum of, from mild to moderate. We see limb differences in the hand, foot, leg, arm, fingers, toes. We see just range of a few fingers or toes missing to like a missing foot or leg or different things like that. So there's definitely, we see a lot of blood conditions will include HIV and thalassemia, and we sometimes see other blood conditions as well. Developmental delays are seen, physical and mental, any child in an orphanage is going to be a little bit delayed, but there are definitely can be like more severe ones as well. Sibling sets and healthy older children are also considered medical needs by CARA's definitions. That is something for you to know. Referrals. So families can request their child's, like the child that they feel like most comfortable with, and like I mentioned, families with NRI or OCI status can adopt any child request or any healthy child request. Just something to note though, that is a longer process, so that would generally take anywhere from 2 to 4 years, so it definitely will increase your wait time if you have NRI or OCI status. Families specify the medical needs they're comfortable with. I would say what we see is typically anywhere from 3 months to 15.5 years of the age range that we see online. So the referral process, America World refers child to family from the Carings database, and then later on in the process, CARA as well as the orphanage must approve that match. Family reviews the referral with their social worker or medical professional, and then families can accept or decline a referral. They have at least 2 weeks to review documents and ask questions. So, as you review the documents, you're able to reach out to us, and then we reach out to our in-country staff who works with the orphanages to be able to try to get your questions answered. We can never guarantee that we'll get all of those questions answered, but they definitely we work our best to try to do so. Wait time to receive a child's original paperwork usually takes anywhere from, I would actually say it's 4 to 8 weeks. Alrighty. Next is travel. Like I mentioned before, America World does assist in all travel plans. We do recommend that both parents travel. There are options if you want to take your children or relatives that kind of is based off of, your family, your family best and what you think would best help with your family. You are assigned a travel coordinator that walks you through every step of the process and travel. So they kind of walk you through that whole travel process and are very beneficial. First, you'll travel to your child's state or region, and then all families complete the process in Delhi. So generally the trip takes anywhere from 10 to 14 days. And something for you to know, our in-country staff is with you. So you have guides that will take you to your child's orphanage, that take you to all your appointments that you'll need, and that assist you, they assist all your travel through in-country. So they are really beneficial, and we are very thankful for them. So post-adoption, I mentioned we have a great post-adoption team. They assist with the adjustment period and re-adoption and post-adoption requirements. Typically, post-adoption requires a report from a social worker at 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 24 months after adoption, with 1 month self-reports and quarterly reports as well. Something to note is that that's the minimum that will be required. Some judges will ask for more reports, so the judge can always ask for more. So that is kind of something to know, but that is minimum of what you will have to do. America World continues to provide future support, resources, and assistance, and we do have a post-adoption team that you can always feel free to email or call with any questions or concerns that you might have while you're kind of in that post-adoption process. Application requirements. So parents should be between the ages of 25 and 55 with a maximum combined age of 110 years. There's a list of all the requirements online as, if you have a combined age of 90, then you can, adopt up to 4, and there's like a whole requirement list in there. So that you can look at our website, which is under programs, and then India and requirements. Couples should be married at least 2 years. Single women are able to adopt, and more than 3 children in the home is considered on a case-by-case basis. We also have the cost overview on that part of our website as well. Support and training. So when you come into our India program, you are given a family coordinator that walks with you from the start of the process until you then have a travel coordinator. So they are the ones that get to know you really well. They're with you throughout the whole process. And they're the ones who end up matching with your referral, who get to call you with your referral, who really just kind of get to know your family throughout the whole process. And so it's a really unique relationship that you get there. And they, are there to support you throughout the way. We also have an India Facebook group to connect with families from all over the United States, as well as local and national reunions and family events. We give specific training for medical needs adoptions, for older children adoptions. We also give tips from our AmeriCorps social workers from around the United States, as well as online training resources. Financial resources. So we understand that adopting is a lot of money, but we also know that it is just a wonderful thing that to be able to give a child a forever family. And so this little girl, she actually sold blueberries to help raise money for her family's adoption. So she sold them all summer. So there are many families that have done things similar to this, that have, done a lot of different promotions and things that have helped to fund their adoption. We do have grant and loan organizations on our website, both Hands Foundation, Show Hope, Lifesong, JSC, Gift of Adoption, as well as a whole list on our financial aid links that you can look through. And these are just some of the many, if you do research, I'm sure you can find even more, but that's just kind of something that we have that families have worked with in the past of our program. So contact information, like I mentioned, you can go to awaa.org or 1-800-429-3369. You can feel free to call, as well as email india@awaa.org. Also follow us on social media, Facebook, America World, Twitter, America World, Instagram, YouTube, Venmo, all those things. So right now is time for questions. Please don't hesitate or call to email us with any questions. Like I mentioned, you can email india@awaa.org, or you can email any of us. So this is our India program. And now is the time that we will start answering questions. So,
hi everyone, this is Mindy Davis. As Becca mentioned, I am the Senior Family Coordinator for the India program. So if you want to go ahead and type any questions you have in that question box, we can go through them one at a time. So our first question is, can you clarify the referral time relative to the approval? If it is a 12 to 18 months until approval, at what point in the process after the dossier is the referral? And so there's kind of a couple of questions in this, so I'll try to break it down, but let me know after I answer if you have additional questions. And so India is actually a unique process. So in most international adoption processes, you're going to see the dossier go to the foreign country, the family receive approval. Once you have been approved, then you are eligible to receive a referral. And so with the India process, it looks slightly different. Once you have a finalized home study, we can register you with the Central Adoption Authority in India, and then they preliminarily approve you. And so that preliminary approval is called CARA approval. You're approved on Carings. And once you have been approved, from that point, it is 0 to 6 months for a referral. Once you've received a referral of a child, at that point, then it's about 12 to 18 months. Historically, that's what it's been, 12 to 18 months for you to receive all additional approvals, including final court approval, and to travel to India. So that 12 to 18 month period would be once you have received, again, the referral of the child until you travel. And so after you've actually received the referral of the child is when your dossier would go to India. Typically, your dossier goes to India anywhere from 2 to 4 months after you have been referred the child's information and have accepted the referral. And the reason being we wait for that is because the dossier will actually be sent to the child's specific orphanage. All right, so that looks like it's it. That's all the questions that have come in so far. Again, if you do have any other questions and again want to talk through them over the phone, maybe email them because you have several, that's absolutely okay. We're happy to answer any and all that you have. That's what we're here for. But otherwise, you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much. Bye.